What's up, horror fans? I'm the Master of Movies Clay from the Hills Maniacs, and today I'm going to be bringing you my list of 10 non horror characters that should be in horror movies. So I wanted to do this list just because, it is Halloween, and I kind of wanted to go over um, different characters from non-horror movies that I think would make a good horror movie villain. Just whether the character is kind of a creepy character in the movie, or it just looks like somebody that could be a good horror movie villain. So we'll start with number 10. We'll go down to number 1, with number 1 being my pick for a character that should be in a horror movie. Mostly as the villain of the horror movie, like the Freddy, Michael, Jason type of deal, with a couple of honorable mentions thrown in between number 2 and 1. Just other people that were on the list but weren't really at number 10 just yet. So the first one I picked is Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I know it's kind of a weird one, but the reason I picked it is because if you look at his character in the movie, he is pretty much already dead. The only way you can kill him is to take his heart, which is kept in a chest or a jar of dirt if you're Jack Sparrow, which of course is then taken by Will Turner, and he ends up like putting it inside his own chest or whatever, and so he becomes the leader of Davy Jones' army. But I mean, he's a pirate that uses, like, they can live underwater, his whole group, so like they never know where they're gonna show up. When you have the Flying Dutchman, you don't know where Davy Jones' ship is gonna pop up because they could be anywhere in the ocean. So it's kind of like that creepy, eerie feeling of like, where's he gonna be when you're when you're watching the movie? Where's he gonna pop up at? Is he gonna be there? And then I would imagine it would be creepy for the people on the boat. Like, oh, Davy Jones is gonna come up, maybe, I don't know. So like you have that fear of where's him and his group gonna pop up at. So that's why I put him here. Number 9, I have Sid from Toy Story. This kid is creepy, trust me. He destroys toys. He makes them his own thing. I mean, he's weird and creepy, and it's just, he's a psychopath. It seems like. So I mean, him as like a horror movie villain, towards maybe like a toy type of thing, or maybe he takes those tendencies and starts using them on people. I mean, that's, that could be the plot of the movie. I don't know, but I think Sid would make a good horror movie villain. The next one I picked is Venom, the Marvel character Venom. I mean, he is kind of an anti-hero. He's also kind of a villain, depending on which version you go by. But I'm talking mostly the Tom Hardy Venom, from the new Venom movies, not the one from Spider-Man 3. I mean, he can pretty much do anything. He's got a lot of strength. He's got the teeth. He likes to bite people. He likes fighting. He likes killing people. I mean, to see that thing like just crawling on the wall or popping up somewhere, I think would be really creepy to watch. And that's kind of what the Venom movies are. We know he's the hero in this one, but if you were to put him as a horror character, I think it would work, because you never know where he's gonna be, because he could crawl on walls. And it'd be hard to escape. Something that can crawl on the walls, crawl on side of buildings and things, and something that you can pretty much not really kill. it'd be hard to fight against that. Number 7, I put Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter. Now you might be wondering why go to Harry Potter for this, and why not pick Voldemort, which I mean I'll explain later on. But if you truly look at the character of Bellatrix Lestrange, she is pure evil. I mean, yeah, Voldemort is evil, but Voldemort's main focus was immortality, and he only really killed people that was necessary to kill. He only went after Harry, and the only reason people ended up dead around Harry was because he was trying to get to Harry. I mean, Voldemort, for as evil as he was, still had his limits. Not saying he wouldn't just go kill somebody just to kill somebody. I'm sure he would. But Bellatrix truly took joy in doing that and torturing and killing as many people as she could. She was pure evil in these movies, and I would assume she was the same in the books. I haven't read the books. So that's why I put her as number 7. And Helena Bonham Carter does a great job at bringing that character to life, I feel, and showing what she's truly capable of. Because we see, even when she gets hit with Cruciatus Curse by Harry in Order of the Phoenix, I mean, I guess it depends on, because the unforgivable curses are kind of like the person casting it has to have the right mindset for it to work properly. But she gets hit with the Cruciatus Curse and she just laughs. I mean, that should tell you how truly sick and evil and twisted she really is. Number 6, I put Mother Gothel from Tangled. And again, this is a weird one, but when you focus on the character and you look at what she did, what she did to Rapunzel in Tangled, and how she kept her in the tower, she manipulated her to believe that she was her mother, and all this time all she wanted was her hair, because her hair had magic powers to keep her young. And without that, she turns into this old witch, and it's just it's literally the plot of like a horror movie or like a slasher or thriller. Somebody gets taken and put through situations and has to escape. That's pretty much the plot of most horror movies. So if you plug that in to Tangled, you pretty much get a horror movie anyways. But I think if you made it a lot darker toned and you had like a live action version of it, but like a darker tone, I think it could work as a horror movie. So that's why I put Mother Gothel here. Number 5 is Medusa, a character seen in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and Clash of the Titans or Wrath of the Titans, one of them. I think it was Clash. But the character from Greek mythology who has snakes for hair and can turn people to stone with her eyes. I mean, that right there just sounds like the perfect horror villain, because you can't really stop it. Like, you turn the corner and she's there, and boom, you're turned to stone if she's looking at you. Like, so to know that, and she's part like snake or whatever, at least in Clash of the Titans, she's part like serpent or something. Also, like, her body is a serpent, so she's very hard to kill in that. And Perseus, I think was his name, had to be the one to defeat her. But she would be very creepy trying to fight against, because you really have no way of looking at what you're doing, because if she just keeps her eyes open, you can't look at her. So you'd have to do like what Percy does in Percy Jackson and kind of use your phone or something or a mirror, to look at her so that you know where she's at, and then, chop her head off or something, like he does. But that's why I put Medusa on this list, because she is hard to kill, and she would be creepy to encounter, I think, for anybody. So number 4, I put Joker, and I'm going by specifically either Heath Ledger's Joker or the Joker from the Joker movie. And those two, I think, are the ones that bring the character the most to life and show the character's true psychotic side. And the Joker really is a lunatic. And I think if you take what he does in the Batman movies and you plug it into a horror movie, I think it still fits. And so I think just not knowing, being able to understand what he's going to do, why he's going to do it, when he's going to do it, where he's going to do it, I think is what makes it more very suspenseful, especially watching like The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, you don't know what he's planning, you don't know why he's planning it. I don't even think he knows half the time why he's doing what he does. And yet he does it anyways, because he's just truly so messed up that he has to. And I think that's why he fits perfectly into that category of horror movie villain. Number 3, I put Wanda Maximoff from the MCU, also known as the Scarlet Witch. Specifically, probably the Scarlet Witch version of her from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you look at that movie in itself could be a horror movie. It did come out close to Halloween, I think, or close to October or whatever. But the thing she does where she jumps through the mirror dimension and pops out of different puddles and anything that has a reflection, she could use chaos magic to allow herself to come through, and then she manipulates her body so that she can fit through it, and she comes out and she's all warped and everything else. And then the whole thing with the dream walking, where she puts her consciousness into another variant of herself and takes over her body and kills some of the Illuminati people in that movie, the Avengers of a different universe. I mean, just the things she's capable of with her magic and what she's doing. Yeah, she's doing it so that she can get her family back. I guess that's her main goal. But I think if you just let her loose and just went all out with the character, it is definitely a horror character. And if you watch the movie Multiverse of Madness and you look at what she actually does, I think you'd agree with me that she is definitely a creepy character in that movie. So I think specifically the Multiverse of Madness Scarlet Witch version of Wanda Maximoff is where we're going. Number 2, I put one of my favorite movie characters of all time, and that is Darth Vader. And you're probably wondering, I don't really see him as a horror movie, but I could. I mean, if you truly look at what Darth Vader did when he was at his prime as Darth Vader. I mean, you look at Anakin when he became Vader, but before he got the suit in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, he was okay with, just killing other Jedi. Obviously, what he did to the younglings. He was evil, and he became that way because of his hatred. And if he took that and he used it, and I mean, Rogue One kind of shows that, that battle scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. When they send the plans to the Tantive 4 to Princess Leia from Scarif, and Vader, the Star Destroyer latches itself onto the Tantive 4, and Vader comes through, and they're standing there and they're like, oh, what's happening? And then all of a sudden you just see the red lightsaber ignite. And they start shooting, and Vader's blocking it all, and he force chokes a guy, and he throws a guy, and he kills everybody with his lightsaber. It's one of the best scenes, I think, in Star Wars. And that right there, I think, is what, just imagine standing somewhere, you're in a dark room, and then all you hear is Darth Vader's breathing, and then you see a red lightsaber ignite, and you don't know what's going on. You can't run because he can just pull you back with the Force. And if he truly wants you dead, you will be dead, because he doesn't have a filter at that point. He didn't have Luke to help him get there yet. So I think he would make a good horror movie villain. So my number 1 character that's a non-horror character that I would put as the villain of a horror movie is Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Everything about him, to me, just screams horror movie. His multiple personalities, where he's Smeagol, but then he's also Gollum, and he kind of goes back and forth. His ability to manipulate people, like Frodo trusted him, and then he ends up turning his back on him, of course, because he just wants the ring. That's all he's powered by. The way he just turns evil like that, and just, goes off and tries to get Frodo and Sam killed, but then saves them to make himself look good. But then his whole plot is just to get the ring that's corrupted his mind. But he is a very creepy character, and you watch what he did in The Hobbit, and you look at Lord of the Rings and the different things he did throughout the series, is very creepy. And I think having a horror movie set kind of in Middle Earth where Gollum could just roam around wherever, he obviously knows how to fight, at least for the most part, against things that he knows he can beat. On his journey to reclaiming the Ring of Power, I think would be a cool horror movie for Gollum. And now, real quick, some honorable mentions. I mentioned that I'd have some of these. They are characters that I kind of thought about and then were like, well, they're not exactly in the top 10, but I could see them still being a horror movie villain. So one is Slade from the 2001 Planet of the Apes movie with Mark Wahlberg, played by Tim Roth. I think just the character itself looks really creepy, but just the fact that what he does, where he enslaves the humans and wants to just take over everything, and the way he acts, and I think he would make a great horror movie villain because he has like no filter at all. He doesn't really care. He's just gonna do his own thing, and I think that's what makes him truly like the villain of the movie, which he is. The next one I put the White Witch from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. She has a magic staff that can turn people to stone, and she doesn't care who she uses it on. She wants power, and that's all she wants, and she's willing to do anything to get it. So she just freezes people, and they turn to stone, and they're just frozen forever until Aslan, the lion, saves them. But again, she's one of those characters that just truly doesn't care about anything, anyone, and just wants to have her own kingdom and rule as queen, and thinks everybody should bow the knee to her, even though she doesn't deserve it. And then the last one I have is, of course, Voldemort from Harry Potter. Like I mentioned before, he is evil, but I don't think he's as evil as Bellatrix, and that's why I didn't put him on my main list. So anyways, guys, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those are my 10 characters that are not from horror movies that I would put in horror movies as the main villain of the horror movie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know who you would put in your top 10 if you had to pick these characters to cast in a horror movie as the main villain. Who would you put there, and do you agree with any of my picks? Would you change any of my picks and my honorable mentions and stuff? So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you check out what else we have going on Halloween this year, and check out all the other videos we did for Halloween last year and the year before. And we got plenty of other videos coming up this year, so stay tuned for all of those. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.